country concertgoers treated to a surprise at the Pepsi Center when Broncos quarterback Tim Tebow takes the stage. What American Idol winner Scotty McCreery has to say about the impromptu performance.
We sat in that chair for maybe an hour.
An unexpected power outage at Copper Mountain leaves some skiers stranded more than 30 feet in the air.
I'm getting better. Every day, my spirit is high. I will return.
But right now, Congresswoman Gabby Giffords says it's best she step aside. Hear more of her emotional message as she resigns from Congress more than a year after being shot in the head. And a Fox 31 Denver exclusive. The teenage girl who lost both her legs when she was run over by a train in Longmont tells her story for the first time.
I'm coming home and it's like, my room is completely rearranged differently from my wheelchair. And, I can't reach things that are high up in the fridge. And, I'm relying on my 10-year-old brother to go in the garage and get me a soda.
Anna Beninati shares what she's doing now just months after her accident.
Fox 31 Denver, news at 9.
We begin tonight with two amazing stories of survival. Anna Beninati, a teen who lost both legs when she fell from a train in Longmont, shares her story for the first time publicly only with Fox 31 Denver. And Arizona Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, who was shot in the head just over a year ago, tearfully announces she is leaving Congress. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Hema Muller. We'll have more on Giffords' moving message in just a moment. But first, the CSU student who lost both her legs in a train jumping accident in September came back to Longmont to honor the people who rescued her. She handed out life-saving awards at the Longmont Fire Awards ceremony, then spoke exclusively with Fox 31 Denver. Kim Posey is live with how Anna Beninati is doing 4 months later. Kim.
Well, Anna lost both of her legs while trying to jump onto a train here along these train tracks in Longmont about 4 months ago. She went home to Utah to recover, but she was back in town this weekend and spoke exclusively to Fox 31 Denver. Anna Beninati may have lost her legs, but she still loves to dance. Now she just does it in her wheelchair. She was in great spirits at an event to thank the people who saved her life 4 short months ago.
I would not be here without them.
She says she remembers her accident vividly. September 5th, she and some friends were trying to jump a train from Longmont back to school in Fort Collins.
I remember thinking in my head, I was like, now this is really, really, really a bad idea.
She says she ran and jumped, got one leg onto the ladder, but the other was dragging and she couldn't pull herself up.
I was like, oh my God, I'm about to get, and then it happened. And the next thing I know, I'm laying on the ground and I'm watching as car after car just goes over my legs.
Her friend pulled her out from under the train and started first aid.
I looked down and I could see that my legs were not attached to me anymore. And that was terrifying.
Then 2 off-duty nurses ran to help and called 911.
Oh my God. I'm on 3rd Avenue at the railroad track. Somebody just tried to jump on the train and severed her leg.
The nurses got control until the ambulance arrived.
Do not move her! Don't move her!
I shudder to think what would have happened if I had not gotten the immediate attention that I did. I mean, I quite literally would have bled to death right there.
11 surgeries later, Anna now has an amazing perspective on her life.
Since my accident, really, it's only been good things.
She is skiing, getting ready to go back to school, and has a whole new respect for basic safety rules.
Don't jump trains, even if you think it's your only option. There are other options.
Now, Anna is trying to move on from all of this. She is a music therapy major at CSU and says she cannot wait to get back there this fall. In Longmont, Kim Posey, Fox 31, Denver.
What an amazing attitude she has. Kim, thanks.
Absolutely.
Arizona Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords has been down a long road to recovery after a man shot her last year. The gunfire didn't kill her, but it did change her life forever. Today, in a moving video, Giffords announced she is retiring from Congress. Fox 31 Denver's Justin Joseph is here now with more on her message and reaction to her resignation.
Hema, a year after she was shot, Gabrielle Giffords' health is improving. In the video posted online today, Giffords' voice is labored, partly because she's learning to talk once again, and partly because the words she decided to say were the ones she hoped she wouldn't have to. It was about this time last year when gunfire crippled Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords.
A lot has happened over the past year.
In her own words and in a 2-minute YouTube video, Sunday, the 3-term Arizona Congresswoman announced she will step down from Congress this week.
I don't remember much from that horrible day, but I will never forget the trust you placed in me.
Giffords was hurtled into the national spotlight in January of last year when a disgruntled constituent opened fire at a political event. 6 people died. Giffords was one of 19 survivors.
I have more work to do on my recovery, so to do what is best for Arizona, I will step down this week.
Even Giffords' colleagues from the other side of the aisle praised the Congresswoman for her courage. Colorado Republican Mike Coffman called her pleasant and said she served her Arizona district over her party. Speaker of the House John Boehner said she'll be missed.
Arizona is my home. Always will be.
The video was filled with imagery from Arizona and the people Giffords served. She says this is not goodbye and promises the work continues.
I'm getting better every day. My spirit is high. I will return.
And tonight we heard from other members of Colorado's congressional delegation. Democratic Senator Mark Udall said, as a friend and colleague, it's difficult to watch Congress lose such an amazing individual, tireless representative. And Hema, we have the video posted, the entire video posted on our website at KDVR.com.
Now, this is just an absolutely moving video to watch the entire thing. I mean, a lot of people after that shooting happened, I mean, we didn't even think we would see her speak again. But, I mean, it's just very powerful that she did that. And she's going to be making an appearance this week as well.
That's right. She's going to be at the State of the Union, and she's just been such an inspiration to anyone who meets her.
All right, yeah, definitely. If you get a chance, check out that video on our website, KDVR.com. Justin, thanks. New tonight, a 13-year-old Eagle boy is dead after an avalanche at Vail Mountain. Eagle police say the boy was skiing in a closed area on the mountain when he was caught in the slide. He was with another person, and that person escaped and went for help, but the boy could not be saved. The Summit Daily News identifies the victim as Taft Conlon. Tonight, a memorial page has been set up on Facebook for the young boy. The powder was fresh, but skiers and boarders at Copper Mountain had a tough time enjoying it today. A power outage left many grounded and others just simply hanging out. A ride to the skies stopped short.
We were on the American Flyer lift and we were going and it was fine, and then it stopped.
Copper Mountain lost power around noon today, leaving these normally bustling lifts at a standstill. Some were luckier than others.
We were the last ones to get on that couldn't jump off when the power failed.
Instead of enjoying the ride down, they were stuck. Thankfully, it was Ski Patrol to the rescue with ropes.
Ski Patrol did a great job coming, getting us a rope extraction. The lowers down with ropes.
After about an hour, the power was back.
We all cheered, for sure. Every chair went, woo!
It was just miserable. Yeah, it was just one of those things you just hope it doesn't last much longer, you know, because we were pretty much frigid and ready to get down.
But crisis averted, and the stranded were soon back on the slopes, ready to enjoy the ride down. The backup generators kicked in, getting the lifts back up and running. Anyone who was affected by the outage on the lifts will get a free lift ticket. Well, it took a while, but the mountains finally got some much-needed snow this weekend. That, of course, was great for business. Take a look at all of this traffic coming back from the ski areas today. So just how much did they get, and will there be more? Meteorologist Nick Carter has the answer in his Pinpoint forecast.
A lot, and yes, Hema, but right now we're kind of enjoying the quiet in between two storms. This is Pinpoint Live Radar, and we're not really showing any kind of precipitation at this time. In fact, our skies are still pretty clear here in the east, but there's another little wave of cloudiness closing in on the high country. That's kind of a leading edge of another storm system that's going to be reaching us tomorrow night and affecting the Front Range on Tuesday. Current temperatures now low to mid-20s here in the northeast. It's 18 degrees, so a little colder up near Greeley, and we talked about avalanches They were in effect for most of the mountain locations. Now the latest is just a small area of the Sawatch Mountains. So no major problems for anybody skiing on vacation or anything like that. You don't have to worry about that in the backcountry. We were going to talk about that earlier today, but it looks like the Weather Service has just canceled that. Winds are letting up too. That's good. It'll be a mild day tomorrow, but there is the chance for snow on Tuesday. We'll talk about the chances, how great they are, all coming up in your Pinpoint forecast in just a few.
All right, Nick, thanks so much. College football's most legendary head coach, Joe Paterno, died early this morning, surrounded by his family. He was 85 years old. Sports director Nick Griffith joins us now with more on Paterno's life and the legacy he leaves behind.
Shock and surprise for most today as Joe Paterno loses his fight against lung cancer. A man who is revered as one of the most legendary sports figures of the past decade also goes down as the most successful college football coach in history. Today, the Penn State community that he held so dear to his heart now uniting to pay tribute.
He was one of the molders of men, and for all those years, that's what he tried to do.
A dark cloud over Happy Valley with the passing of legendary Lion Penn State figurehead Joe Paterno.
It's emotional. You know, a lot of good memories of Joe Paterno. I met him a couple times, and he's a great guy.
Paterno died Sunday from lung cancer. Soon after, this was the scene outside of Beaver Stadium. Alumni, students, and fans filed through, placing flowers and tributes at the foot of Paterno's statue.
We all kind of knew that he was in frail health, and we knew that this was probably pretty imminent.
On Saturday night, many holding out hope after learning of Paterno's rapid decline, staging a vigil filled with candles, reflections, and tears for the 85-year-old Joe Pa. Paterno's storied 46 years as head football coach, ending with his ouster, part of that fallout over the child sex charges against his former defensive coordinator, Jerry Sandusky.
This is not a case about football. It's not a case about universities. It's a case about children who have had their innocence stolen from them, and a culture that did nothing to stop it.
This community immensely tied to Paterno's reputation, showing their anger with a dangerous rampage back in November, clashing with cops. Paterno getting the cancer diagnosis days after being fired. Now the Penn State community looking for the best way to honor a man who many say, despite his mistakes, will remain a legend.
I think we'll know Joe long past that. I think that that's one moment in his whole life and his whole career at Penn State. That's one moment, one mistake.
Meanwhile, here closer to home, CU Buffs assistant head coach Rip Scherer was a graduate assistant back in 1974 at Penn State. He releases this statement, says, "I can attest that from many perspectives, he touched many young people's lives in an extremely positive manner. The world of college football and college athletics will never see another coach or person like Joe Paterno." Paterno leaves behind his wife, 5 kids, and 17 grandchildren. Certainly the thought of his reputation being tarnished amid the scandal, there is the thought there. Of course, we're getting a lot of feedback right now on our Sunday Sports Zone Facebook page. What you cannot deny is, of course, his ability to go out and win football games and, of course, lead young men in a positive manner. 409 career victories for Joe Paterno. Pretty amazing. You really wonder, what is it that people are going to think about when they think about Joe Paterno? Is it going to be that amazing record, or is it going to be these, allegations of his involvement in the sex abuse? Two ways to look at it. On the heels of the scandal, maybe you have that situation, but I think long-term it's going to be a positive reflection of one Joe Paterno. All right, Nick, thanks so much. Our coverage continues online at KDVR.com. There you'll find reaction to Paterno's death and video of students mourning the loss on the Penn State campus. We've also posted pictures of Paterno throughout his career. Coming up, a 9-year-old Pueblo girl kidnapped and held against her will, who she says helped her make it through the 18-hour ordeal.
They wanted somebody who was tough enough and bold enough to take on Obama. 3 states, 3 different winners. Hear from all 4 remaining GOP candidates as they look ahead to Florida. Marijuana is illegal under federal law, but it's the main ingredient in a new prescription drug awaiting FDA approval. How that could change the way the government looks at the drug.
Unschoolers try to really preserve the joy of learning that all children have. At least one local family believes the best lessons are learned outside the traditional classroom. Coming up, we take a closer look at unschooling.